By the looks of my watch, it's officially grave time. Well, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. The year is almost over with. This past week has been pretty crazy here in California. We've had a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and sadly, this past Monday, December 22nd, Adam the Woo had passed away. Now, everyone who watches YouTube in some way or form has probably come across one of his videos. And this guy really meant a lot to me and to a lot of people on YouTube. And, you know, right now it's Saturday, December 27th, and it's in the afternoon here, and I'm just, all week I've been trying to find ways to, how can I express what Adam meant to me? I never met the guy, but I really would not be where I'm at today in the format of videos that I make if it wasn't for Adam the Woo. I can't really remember what year it was. I want to say it was 2015, I believe it was. Sometime in the fall of 2015, I believe. I had recently watched an Ernest movie with Jim Varney, who played the character Ernest P. Worrell. And the movie I saw at the time was Ernest Rides Again. And I saw it in theaters. My aunt took me to see it. And it was one of those Ernest movies, much like Ernest Goes to Jail, that I would watch religiously. But now being an adult, going back to watch this film, I was excited to watch it. So I ended up watching it and realizing, wow, this is probably one of his worst movies. And which is rough for me to say because I really do like Jim Varney's character, Ernest. I grew up watching The Three Stooges. I grew up watching Pee Wee Herman and Ernest. And so all three of those were the three characters, Three Stooges, and Pee Wee and Ernest. Pee Wee and Ernest were very much similar. They were both man-childs. They both were funny, goofy, and unusual, but very entertaining. So after watching this movie, Ernest Rides Again, I started thinking about when I first heard the news that Jim Varney had passed away. He passed away in 2000, I believe it was in early February. And I remember I was leaving band practice. It was my second attempt to start yet another Christian ska band, which never went anywhere, sadly. But I remember I had my radio on KFBK 1530 AM, and on my way home, I heard the report that Jim Varney had passed away at age 50. Now, I know that he was a heavy smoker, smoked for many years, and when he had found out that he had lung cancer, he immediately quit and tried to better his health. Unfortunately, it didn't help. And so I decided, you know, after watching Ernest Rides Again, I figured I'll go on the internet and see, you know, where's Ernest P. Worrell? Where's Jim Varney buried at? And I found a link to the Find a Grave page and went ahead and checked it out. It was probably the first time I had ever been to Find a Grave's website, which is, you know, you're probably thinking, well, you're the guy who goes to cemeteries. You've probably heard it way before then, but I don't really recall. I do believe that it was really there in fall of 2015. And, you know, I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I went down to see if I could find any other information. And below the link to Find a Grave was this video of someone actually at his gravesite. And I was like, wow, someone filmed his gravesite. That's pretty dang cool. I noticed it wasn't like a TV show or some kind of thing like that. It was something on YouTube. And I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll check this out. I don't know what to expect. And it was Adam the Woo visiting the grave of Jim Varney. And I watched this whole video and I was just blown away by it. It was so simple, but the idea of going to a person's grave, not only filming it, but uploading it and putting it on YouTube. I had already been to many cemeteries, took pictures. I didn't film a whole heck of a lot in the early beginning when I got a video camera for the first time. I filmed the cemetery that my grandpa is buried at, which is Camellia Lawn off of the Jackson Highway. Actually caught something paranormal on camera. That was back in 2001. Unfortunately, that footage was erased over a concert. I had a couple other cemetery tours I took at the Sacramento City Cemetery. And unfortunately, those were erased over for concert footage, either by myself or my brother. But those were the first 3 times I actually filmed a cemetery. So moving forward, I was like, wow, never thought about putting something like that on YouTube. Now, prior to all this, I have another YouTube channel called The Pancake Kid, which I started, I believe, in late November, early December of 2006. I've had that channel for now like 19 years, which is crazy. And that was just a channel to upload concert footage that I had filmed, going to different Christian punk shows and hardcore shows, metal shows, ska shows, and filming it on a camera and then uploading it onto YouTube. That's really what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be selfish and just hold on to this. These are really cool bands I got to see, and I wanted to share them with everyone. So I put them up on this YouTube channel. Well, back to, seeing Adam at Jim Varney's gravesite, I was like, wow, I already go to cemeteries. I'm already documenting them. Like, why not film them and put them up on YouTube? So that's basically how Grave Time really started in a nutshell.
Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here. It's my second channel, daily blog channel, The Daily Woo. It's a dreary, overcast morning. It was raining a little while ago here in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm in this cemetery here, very somber area. It's actually a pretty fantastic cemetery. It's very large. It has some pretty, I don't know how many acres it is, but it's very large. The main reason I'm here is to pay my respects to one of my childhood idols. His name is Jim Varney. He played the character that you probably know as Ernest, but he was also much more than that. He was also a Shakespearean actor and played a lot of other different roles. And to me, as a child, he was definitely an influence on what I thought was funny and helped mold what I considered entertainment into my adult life. So I'm going to try to find his grave and pay my respects to the late, great Jim Varney. Mr. Jim Varney. I always wanted to meet him when I was a kid. Unfortunately, he passed away in the year 2000 at the age of 50. He was 50 years old when he died of lung cancer. He was diagnosed with lung cancer, and he actually put a video, an earnest video, you can probably find it on YouTube, of him critiquing and criticizing Vern, the character of Vern, that everyone knew and loved, for smoking and how he shouldn't smoke. And he was doing that trying to get people, kids and adults that watch his videos, not to smoke, to follow in his path. But it was a little too late. And he passed away shortly after that in the year 2000. So that's my childhood idol right there.
I was already talking to a friend of mine that I went to church with by the name of Robert Munoz. We used to play in a band together, and we were talking about starting a YouTube channel documenting different things of historical stuff in Sacramento. And just due to, him being busy working and being a family man, his responsibilities, which I understand, but then also on my end, I needed a hobby, because at the time, the Christian hardcore band that I was playing in called Youthquake AD had broken up, and I really needed some kind of hobby, really needed something in my life. And I started seeing a counselor because I was dealing with depression and some other issues, and she said, you need a hobby, you need something. And so I said, well, probably a good 2 months into seeing her, this would now be in the early part of 2016. I said, well, I had this idea about starting a YouTube channel, filming like historical stuff. But I'm thinking like, I saw this video of this guy, he went to the grave of Jim Varney and he was filming his grave. And I said, I already go to cemeteries, I already hang out there, I already take pictures of these graves. Like, why not do that? And she said, that's a great idea, you should do it. And I said, well, I don't know how to do it. And she said, just do it. And man, that was just, it was like, okay, so yeah, it was really May 10th, 2016 is when I started Grave Time. And it really all started with that YouTube video that I found on Google of Adam the Woo visiting the grave of Jim Varney. It was monumental to me. And I unfortunately never got to meet Adam. It's a huge bummer. I really wish I would have got the opportunity. There were times when he would do like his videos when he was living in Orange County, most specifically the city of Orange. And there's an area like a roundabout, and there was a bench that he would sit at, and he would talk about, he'd sit there and he would, just, people watch and just think about life and this and that. And I always thought, oh, it'd be cool if I could just plan it out right, make a trip down to Southern California. I have some really good friends that live in Mission Viejo, that's Orange County. Maybe just take a trip over to Orange and just, I don't know, hang out, loiter, and see if Adam shows up and be an opportunity to meet the guy. It never worked out, just unfortunately. But I always felt that if I had the opportunity to meet Adam, I almost feel like if I would have met him, I would have had his approval, that he would approve of what I'm doing. Of course, I have so many questions. Like I wanted to ask him, like, what got you into filming cemeteries? I also wanted to talk about punk rock because I knew he played bass guitar in a band. I can't remember the name. The New Threat. That's the band he played bass guitar for in Florida, and eventually became the bass guitarist for the band Guttermouth when he moved out to Southern California. So I wanted to talk about that. I know since he was from Florida, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite bands from Gainesville, Florida, Less Than Jake. But I also knew that, he was a PK, otherwise known as Pastor's Kid. His dad was a pastor, and I also always wanted to have those conversations with him about, his faith, his Christian faith. And I do know that he didn't drink, he didn't cuss, he didn't do drugs. He was basically straight edge. And so these are things that I also wanted to talk to with him about. I just wanted to kind of pick his brain, kind of want to know more about his life. And unfortunately just never got to see the guy, never got to meet him. But like I said, if I would have had that opportunity, I remember the first time I saw Jordan the Lion in one of his videos, and I was like, Jordan had some glasses on, he had like a jean jacket on with the arms cut off, he had patches on it, and he came off as like this badass. So I thought, okay, I'll go check out his channel. His channel was completely different. He didn't have that persona, but it got me hooked on watching his videos. And eventually, I saw a video with him and another YouTuber by the name of Jacob the Carpetbagger, excuse me. And, he would showcase these people, and I always felt like, man, like if I could been in one of his videos and he gave me a shout out, like I'd have all these people coming in to checking out my channel. It never happened, unfortunately. I don't know. Sometimes I just wish, even if that didn't even happen, even not even just having that notoriety or just having that validation that I'm doing the right thing, just even to have the conversation with Adam, like what got you into filming cemeteries? Because really no one was really doing that at the time. There's a couple people I'd later on find out that were. And it was right around that time there was another guy on YouTube who I found out just recently was influenced by Adam. That would be Dan Bell. Around that time, Dan Bell did a video where he was in Baltimore and he visited the grave of Edgar Allan Poe. And I just thought, was like, wow, there's these two guys on YouTube that are doing cemetery videos. Like, if they can do it, I can do it. And there, here we are, and there's so many people on YouTube doing cemetery videos, and there's people that do a really good job, and there's people that do a terrible job. But there's also people who are kind of like just like a Johnny come lately, and like they get so many views and they're so popular. And I don't do any of this for popularity. I have a lot of fun doing it. And if there's anything I get out of doing these YouTube videos, is to encourage people to get out and explore. And I almost felt like that's what Adam was about too, going out and exploring these different places that he was interested in. He had a van, he lived in it, he traveled, he also got an RV, and he would drive around and see roadside attractions and movie locations and abandoned buildings and cemeteries, all this stuff. And would watch his channel religiously. I even went out and bought a Adam the Woo t-shirt. I thought, well, obviously I'm too fat to wear the shirt, but I could at least cut it up and make a patch out of it. I never did, but I still have the shirt. And it's hard to believe that the guy's gone, but he has years worth of footage that he filmed on YouTube. I mean, to pass away at age 51 it's sad. And what's crazy is the 5 of those years he documented his life daily on his other YouTube channel, the Daily Woo. So that's crazy. For 50 out of the 51 years of his life, for 5 years he documented his life daily. And I remember, I think the first video I ever watched of one of his daily videos was just like, I don't have anything planned, so me and my friend are going to go to McDonald's. And it was just like, and I watched it. It was like, it was entertaining, But that's what Adam was. He entertained people, and he influenced so many people that are on YouTube today. And so I contemplated making this video because I didn't know the guy, but I felt like I did because I watched his videos. And honestly, just that one simple video that he did of Jim Varney got my attention, and I was like, wow, I could do this. So I hope that anyone that's watching my YouTube channels, hopefully I've influenced you to get out and check out cemeteries, check out some of the historical stuff I do in my videos, because at the end of the day, life is short. Tomorrow's not promised. And get out and explore. There's so many amazing things to see in your own backyard. Just put down the phone. Actually, take the phone with you, because you want to maybe document something, want to take pictures or video. But, maybe get off the phone. You don't need to watch cat videos all day on TikTok, Get out and explore. So I just want to say to Adam, thank you so much for just living your life and entertaining us all and influencing us, because there's so many people on YouTube that would not be where they are today without you. And also to the Williams family during this difficult time as they mourn and grieve and try to move on with their lives. I mean, the fact that their son passed away only just a few days before Christmas is such a bummer. So I just ask all my friends and fans and loved ones that watch my videos, just keep the Williams family in your prayers. And I don't know what else to say. So as always, thank you for watching. God bless you. Bye.